Mrs. Johnston here, and it is time for Knowledge and Social Studies. Remember that we learned about a special Native American tribe called the Lakota Sioux. Does anybody remember where did the Lakota Sioux live? Did you say Great Plains? The Lakota Sioux lived on the Great Plains. How did they get their food? Was your response buffalo or hunting? They got their food primarily through hunting. What was one of the main foods that they ate? Did you say buffalo? They ate buffalo meat. Who hunted the buffalo? Did you respond with men and boys? Well trained men and boys hunted buffalo. What did the Lakota Sioux make from buffalo? They made teepees, food, leather shoes, musical instruments, tools, and weapons. Did you say one of those, a few of them, or all of them? Great job on our review of the Native American tribe Lakota Sioux. What do you see in this picture? Did you respond with buffalo? Buffalo traveled across the Great Plains in herds or groups. Describe what the herd of buffalo is doing. Did you say something like the buffalo are moving, traveling, roaming the Great Plains? The buffalo had to move across the plains in search of their food supply, which is grass. As the buffalo moved or traveled to find their food supply, the Native American tribes who hunted the buffalo had to follow them. Let's check to see if you were listening. Thumbs up if the answer to my question is yes. Thumbs down if the answer to my question is no. The Lakota Sioux only used buffalo for their meat, wasting much of the animal. Did you give Mrs. Johnston a thumbs down? That answer was no. The Lakota Sioux used buffalo for many things, including food, clothing, and shelter. Did you have your thumbs up? That answer was yes. Buffalo tended to stay in one place. Did you have thumbs down? That answer was no. Since buffalo roamed great distances looking for food, the Lakota Sioux had to travel frequently to hunt. Did you put thumbs up? That answer was yes. Today, you will hear another story about more of the Lakota Sioux and about a young Lakota Sioux boy named Little Bear. Listen carefully to find out more about the Lakota Sioux people and buffalo hunting. Little Bear woke up before the sun did. Today was a very important day. Now that Little Bear was 10 years old, he would be allowed to hunt the buffalo. Little Bear was not frightened. He was excited, even though buffalo can weigh as much as 10 grown men. Little Bear was a Lakota Sioux Indian. He lived on the Great Plains with his family. This area, called a plain, was fairly flat and was filled with grass and buffalo. Here, the word plain describes a part of the United States where the land is flat and has lots of grass, but very few trees. His home was wherever his family and their group of relatives placed their teepees, and that depended on the buffalo. So, where Little Bear and his family lived depended on the buffalo. What does that mean? Did you say that Little Bear and his family were wherever the buffalo were at? So if the buffalo roamed to the north in the Great Plains, then Little Bear's family followed. Or if the buffalo roamed or moved to the south Great Plains, then Little Bear's family traveled there as well. The buffalo lived on the Great Plains too. However, large herds of buffalo moved from place to place. They moved as they grazed on the wild grasses that grow across the wide stretch of land. Because the buffalo was their main food supply, the Lakota Sioux moved with the herds. During what season did the Lakota Sioux hunt buffalo? Did you say summer? The buffalo provided Little Bear's people with fresh meat. The meat could also be dried and turned into pemmican. Pemmican could be stored for later use, especially in the cold winter months. In fact, almost every part of the buffalo had a special use for Little Bear's people. The buffalo provided them with warm fur. Its hair was used to make rope. Buffalo bones were used to make knives, axes, and hammers. Even toys were made from the bones of a buffalo. Buffalo skin was also used to make teepees, clothing, bedding, and moccasins. Making these things was a job for women and girls. When he was younger, Little Bear had watched his grandmother, mother, and sisters while they worked. In using the hide of the buffalo to make clothing, it first had to be stretched and scraped. Then it was soaked and dried several times. After that, it was pulled and stretched to make it soft. Finally, or lastly, it was ready to be cut and sewn into things Little Bear's people needed. Little Bear's sister had made him his first pair of moccasins, which were made more beautiful with the addition of attractive beading art. Little Bear dressed quickly and then stepped outside of his family's teepee. The rising sun was now just a faint glimmer on the horizon. The horizon is the place off in the distance where the land seems to meet the sky. Even without the sun, it was already warm. Little Bear looked around. No one else had woken up yet. He was the only one, and this made the day seem even more important. Little Bear sniffed the air the way his grandfather did. He could not smell rain. He could smell the remains of the fires that had burned the night before. Buffalo meat had been cooked on those fires. Little Bear could still taste the succulent meat. Succulent means very juicy and tasty. Little Bear made his way to where the horses that chased the buffalo grazed. Today he would ride his brother's horse when he went hunting. He would also carry a bow and arrow. His father had crafted his bow and arrow for him, though Little Bear had helped to shape the arrow tip. Hunting the buffalo was not easy. These animals could run like the wind. It often took several men to take down one buffalo. Little Bear hoped that he would be brave. He wanted his father to be proud of him, the way he was proud of Little Bear's older brother. Little Bear stroked his brother's horse and whispered to him. He asked the horse to help him catch the buffalo. The horse nuzzled Little Bear as he spoke to him. Little Bear laughed as the horse's mane tickled his nose. Before long, the sun began to rise. Little Bear noticed that other people had woken up and were emerging from their teepees. He saw his mother begin to breathe life back into their fire. She, along with his sisters, would prepare for the hunting party. A hunting party is a group of people who go out together to hunt. Then it would be time to go. Little Bear made his way back to the teepee. He sat on the ground beside his mother. His mother smiled at him and tousled his hair. You will be a brave buffalo hunter just like your brother, Little Bear's mother said to him. Little Bear smiled at his mother. He knew she was wise and kind. He loved her very much. Before long, Little Bear was joined by his grandfather, father, and brother. When all the men were gathered around the fire, Little Bear's mother and sisters served them buffalo stew. It tasted good. Then it was time to go. The men and boys, including Little Bear, mounted their horses. As they rode out of their village, Little Bear looked back at his mother. She was still standing by the fire. She smiled at him, and then she put her hand on her heart. She is telling me I will be a brave hunter, said Little Bear to himself. With that thought in mind, Little Bear smiled at his mother and then galloped off to hunt the buffalo for the very first time. What is the name of the type of house in which Little Bear and his family live? Did you say teepee? They live in a teepee. Do Little Bear and his family keep their teepee in the same place all the time? Or do they pack it up and move it around from place to place? Did you remember and say that they move their teepee around from place to place? Why do the Lakota Sioux move from place to place rather than stay in one area? Did you say or respond with, they move to follow the buffalo herd? Who are the main characters in this story? Did you say that the main character in this story is a young Lakota Sioux boy named Little Bear? What is the name of the Native American tribe that Little Bear belongs to? Was your response Lakota Sioux? Little Bear belongs to the Lakota Sioux. Describe the land where Little Bear and his family live. Did you say something like Great Plains, flat, very few trees, wild grasses? The Lakota Sioux and Little Bear's family live on the Great Plains, where the land is mostly flat and contains wild grasses and very few trees. What is the main source of food for the Lakota Sioux? Did you tell Mrs. Johnston buffalo? Their main source of food is buffalo. What is Little Bear preparing to do for the first time in this story? Did you say go hunting? Little Bear is preparing to go on a buffalo hunt. Who else went on the buffalo hunt? Did you say men, older boys? That was correct. Men and older boys went on the buffalo hunt. What jobs do Lakota women and girls have? Did you say care for the children, prepare food, make clothing and moccasins, put up the teepees? Lakota women and girls care for children, prepare food, make clothing and moccasins, and put up the teepees. I hope you enjoyed our story today about Little Bear and his first time going hunting.